afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the media meeting with the team of Grupa Azoty KŁDZIERZYN-KOďLE, the defending champions, winners of the Champions League last year in Verona. I have the pleasure of having with me the captain, Alexander Śliwka, and the head coach, Gheorghe Crețu. Welcome. And to begin with, I would like to congratulate the team and all members of the staff on reaching the final stage of the Champions League for the second year in a row. This is truly remarkable. I have received a number of questions from media in advance of the meeting, but they will be able to ask additional questions through the chat. So I invite those in attendance to do so if you have any further questions that you would like me to ask to the captain and the coach. I would start with Alexander. So to begin with, it has been a very long season, and also it included the last stage of the National League, shortly before, these SuperFinals. So how is the feeling inside the team? Is there more fatigue or still like the last boost of excitement that is pushing you to play your best for these SuperFinals tomorrow?
Okay, hello everyone. Of course, there's a fatigue. The season has been very long, and we have played the national championship, the Polish Cup, the Champions League, and all the competitions. But we are very excited to be here to play such a big game like the CEV Champions League Super Final. And after winning the national title of Polish Championship, we have additional boost of this excitement, of this positive energy. So we are really happy to be here, but we want, of course, to, like every team here, we want to win.
So now over to the coach, Gheorghe. This is a privilege, but also a huge responsibility to be at the helm of the team that won the Champions League last year and that is playing for the title again a year later. So how do you approach these Champions League SuperFinals after what has already been a remarkable and successful season?
Hello to everyone. I have heard this from the beginning of the season. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. Even before we start the preparation, I have already 10 months behind me hearing this. I don't care. I enjoy this moment with these guys and the motivation and the emotions they are giving to me and to the staff day by day. We know exactly why we are here, and do our best to bring the title back from.
Alexander, so you were, of course, one of the star players last year in Verona when you won the title. Their final was played on the 1st of May. Now it's 3 weeks later, if we are to compare the two seasons. How difficult has it been, to stay in shape and to keep the momentum going for so long in what has already been a very long season? And can you make a comparison between the way you approached the final last year and the way you go into the final tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the differences between these seasons. First of all, we had a full preparation before the last season. After COVID, we had 2 months to work to prepare our bodies for whole season. Now we went straight after, like most of us, after national team, and we started to playing after just some days of practicing together. But we did a fantastic job during the season with the coaching staff and all the team. We did fantastic job to improve our quality of volleyball, and also we kept amazing atmosphere inside the team, positive energy that helped us go throughout all this season, throughout the problems. But now we are in best possible place to be. We won the national title, Polish Cup, and we are in the super final of the Champions League. So we're very excited. We are proud that we did it, but it's not the end for sure.
Now to the coach, we discussed this also with Trentino. We had their media meeting just an hour ago. And compared to your position where you played recently in the National League, they haven't had a competitive match now for more than 3 weeks. So the rhythm of the game is somehow missing for them. Do you think this is an advantage for your team to be sort of readier than they are? And how do you assess this?
Okay, first of all, the situation is quite clear. We're gonna stay face to face tomorrow against the top team, top players, and if they are playing or not playing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have the same level. It's clear that maybe in some moments during these weeks you felt a bit the rhythm of the game, but actually in this level and for such a competition like we're gonna have tomorrow, both teams and are not thinking about advantages or such or no advantages. Is everything open, and I think we're gonna be mental first of all, more ready for the cup.
Alexander, this is your comeback to Ljubljana after here. There were the semi-finals of the European Championship in 2019 at the very same place. At that time, unfortunately for you and your team, I mean, that was not a positive experience as you eventually had to play for bronze. But what sort of memories do you have from that day, and what sort of lessons did you also take from the experience?
The atmosphere here in Slovenia on that game that you mentioned, 2019 semi-final of the European Championship, the atmosphere was amazing. So I hope that tomorrow will be the same. The hall is very big, but it's really nice to play here. So I just hope that the atmosphere will be the same, but the result will be up.
Thank you, Alexander. Now I continue with the coach. Now, speaking of Trentino and their weapons or their assets, let's say, some of the journalists are asking whether you have identified Alessandro Micheletto as the player to sort of stop in order to be successful. And the other question is, do you see any of your players looking at the different positions having an advantage or an edge over their counterparts in Trentino's roster? So first, I mean, speaking of Micheletto, have you identified him as the one to neutralize, so to speak? And speaking of the team as a collective, I mean, which players or which positions do you think you have a competitive advantage over Trentino?
Actually, you have to show the respect to all the players at Trentino. It's not that the game is going such, only just a direction. They have several players that they can decide it in many moments. Micheletto for sure is one of them, but I think if Trento is here today, it's because they are a good collective. They won the games against the Regrouping, I remember, as a team. I think everyone is speaking for longer time. They're gonna play the final 2 teams that are playing like teams, collective teams, for sure. In some moments, also Trentino, also we have the players that they can
Alexander, you are the captain of the defending champions, and one journalist mentioned that everything seems to be running smoothly inside the group, and that it looks very harmonious. And in a way, would you agree that it is an easy job to be a captain of such a team? And the next question has to do with one of the players, the key player that was not part of the team last year in Verona, Marcin Janus. So the fact that he's playing such a type of a match for the very first time with Champions League and trophy at stake, does it require additional care or sort of support? So in general, I mean, how is the job of being the captain, and specifically about Marcin? I mean, how do you support or strengthen, his preparations for tomorrow's super final?
Okay, first of all, being a captain here in Zaksa in this particular group of people, of amazing people, it's quite easy because all the guys know how the life in a group works. They are really smart people. We are joking a lot. We have a fantastic atmosphere, like I mentioned before. Last questions. So I'm really happy to be captain because this season shows that we have fantastic atmosphere off the court, and on the court we are winning. So it has been fantastic season, but it's at the end again. And about Marcin, I think he's playing amazing season. He's very good for us. He's giving us his best throughout the season, and I think he's ready. He's ready for the challenge, like we all are ready for this challenge tomorrow.
Now, speaking of the two teams, to Coach Kretsu, Matej Krasicki has highlighted that Zaksa has three very good outside hitters. And this is to some extent a similarity to Trentino, as they have this system where there are actually three outside hitters playing together. To what extent would you see a similarity between the two teams that will be facing tomorrow? And yes, how would you compare the strengths and the weaknesses, if there are any, between these two teams?
I think that the positions you mentioned in both teams are covered very well, and it makes also for the setters, quite easy, maybe in some moments, but actually I will not go only in that direction. Both teams will have also top middle blockers that in some moments they can make the difference. And I think that we saw already also in the game of Trentino, also in our games, that these guys are always needed and they are doing quite well. But for sure, both teams, we have three outside guys able to change the game.
Alexander, you mentioned that the atmosphere in the group is really cool, that you're having fun on the court and off the court. Unfortunately, there was also an injury that affected Norbert Huber in the National League. How much did this affect, for instance, the group? I mean, from a technical standpoint, for his contribution as a player, but also maybe emotionally, to the extent that he's not able to play here.
Yes, we really miss Norbert, and for sure we will miss him on the court and off the court, because he's really important person in our group, in our team. But the season showed that we have fantastic also substitution players that in key games in this season, in national championship playoffs, showed that they can step up and improve the quality of our team and change the game completely. I can mention Wojciech Żaliński in the semi-final of the Polish national championship, and middle blocker Krzysztof Rejno that was playing instead of Norbert in the game 4 of the finals, and played really good game. So I think we have 14 really good quality players that are ready to play on the highest level, and I'm not afraid that in particular Krzysztof Reino. I think he's ready to play a good game in the place of Norbert. But of course, we miss him. I hope he will come back as soon as possible in 100% shape, and he will help us next season, and of course for the national team as well, because he's really fantastic player.
George, there are 3 teams out of 4 playing at these SuperFinals who just won their national championship. It's you, it's Vakit Bank, and it's also Ponediano. The question that was raised also to the other coaches and captain was how easy or how difficult is it actually to regroup mentally and physically after you have been successful in your national league, but still you have one more major event which is coming up. So what did you do in order to keep going and to make sure that your players are still focused and the celebrations are maybe postponed or a little bit left behind for now?
Okay, it's quite easy answer, because after we achieved the qualification for the Champions League final, in that moment, for everyone inside of the group was clear that the priority is the championship in Poland. And when this championship finished last Saturday, it was intensive, short moment of enjoying, and Monday evening when they arrived back to the practice, everyone saw only one goal in front of us. And I think I was talking with some of the guys from the staff, and they felt that if you're going to ask when we won the championship, they will not remember how many days before, because it's just in front of us, Champions League final. I think how this said, with this group, it's quite easy to fix goals and also to talk about these kind of things.
Alexander, speaking of motivation, last year, one of the journalists was dropping a question through the chat, said you were probably double motivated because you weren't successful in the Polish National League. So the Champions League Superfinal was your chance of success and redemption to some extent as well. What is the difference now? This year you are the defending champions in the Champions League. You come from success in the National League. Your coach said, we forgot quickly the success of the National League. So, but emotionally, or in the way you take on the finals, how would you compare last year and this year?
So last year, after we lost the gold medal in Polish championship, of course we were maybe not angry, but we were, of course, we wanted some kind of redemption, like you said. We had that fire inside of us that wanted us to win the trophy, and for sure it helped us to come back mentally to this level of focus, to this level of intensity on the court, on the practices also, and I think it helped maybe in some way last year, and this year's team, I think it's. Maybe we are not, we are a young team, I think, but we are mature. So we know that the opportunity we will have tomorrow, it's maybe only a few times in your volleyball career, maybe one time in maybe some players were not able to even try to, big players, to win the Champions League. So we know how important that game will be. And we know that that we have to give our best to be as intensive as we can be, and to give our 100% on the court, and to win this trophy, because it's sometimes you never know how many opportunities you will have in your life.
Now, one last question to the coach. It has been a very long season, and even longer than the one we had last year, as the final is now on the 22nd of May. what did you do in order to plan and to make sure that the energy is still there, and despite all of the competitions that were to be played along the way? So there was the Cup, there was then the National League, there is now the Champions League. How demanding is it also for you as a coaching staff to make the necessary arrangements to make sure that you stay competitive until the end?
Okay. You mentioned a lot of competition, but you didn't mention, I think, the biggest opponent that we coaches, players, they had during the season. It was the COVID, and a tough time for many teams that they played the European Cups and canceled games. It was tough. But from the beginning, that even if we didn't have all the players in the preparation, and some of them they arrived later, we push a lot. We push them also when they arrive back home, and we never step back, even if the games were really close to each other, from the preparation that we really believe is necessary to keep us all over the season in a good shape. I know they complain sometimes about a couple of things, but we have an incredible medical staff and also the other coaches that were able to work and communicate correct to keep these guys all over the season, not only in a good shape, but also ready to play until the last game.
Alexander, last year there was an incredible joy for you to win the Champions League in Verona. Unfortunately, your coach mentioned the pandemic, and last year the finals went ahead without public, without audience. So it wasn't a joy that you could at least share on the spot with your fans and with your supporters. To this extent, what do you expect from tomorrow? Because there will be at least 8,000 fans, I believe also quite a number of Polish fans. So now, regardless of the eventual outcome of the match, the atmosphere is going to be completely different, and it's probably going to give you an extra push.
Yeah, of course. Like a volleyball players, we were dreaming all life to play a big game on the big stage with, like you said, with full gym, like 8,000 people, Champions League final. So it's the moment that we've been waiting for all lives, maybe in some cases. Last year was weird because of the COVID. This year we also had some problems because of that, but for sure playing without fans is something. Okay, we somehow went over it and managed to focus on the game and to put that intensity on the game. But we all remember, and we always dream of playing on the full gym, you know, in front of fantastic volleyball fans. I hope that it will be a lot of. I heard that it will be a big group of Zaksa fans also tomorrow. So we count on them that they will push us for even more. So yes, it's the different game, and I'm really happy that finally we'll have fans on the gym cheering for both teams, and the atmosphere will be amazing.
So one last thing that I wanted to ask you, Alexander, as we have a number of Polish media following, and we did the same also during the meeting with Corneliano, with Asha Wołosz. If you can address the Polish media in your own language now, just summarizing your feelings, and I think they can also use some sections of this video for their own websites and articles, just summarizing how you feel and what you expect, and your expectations ahead of this final in your own language now.
Dzień dobry wszystkim. Oczywiście powiem pokrótce, podsumuję wszystko, co powiedziałem. Sezon dla nas był bardzo długi, ale też bardzo owocny. Wypracowaliśmy wspaniałą atmosferę i dużą jakość siatkówki w naszej drużynie. Myślę, że każdy dołożył do tego cegiełkę. Jesteśmy bardzo szczęśliwi, że jesteśmy w miejscu, w którym w tej chwili się znajdujemy, że jesteśmy tutaj na finale Ligi, zagramy tutaj finał Ligi Mistrzów. ale to nie jest z pewnością koniec sezonu. Mam nadzieję, że wszyscy zjednoczą się podobnie jak w tamtym roku, aby trzymać za nas kciuki. Mam nadzieję, że wszyscy będą te kciuki trzymać, że to poniesie nas ten doping całej Polski, poniesie nas po obronę Pucharu Europy. My czujemy się świetnie, czujemy się gotowi. Mamy nadzieję, że będzie to dobre spotkanie dla nas. Oczywiście wiemy, z kim przyjdzie nam się zmierzyć, bo drużyna Trentino w tym sezonie pokazała wielokrotnie fantastyczną siatkówkę, ale mam nadzieję, że będziemy w stanie się temu przeciwstawić i zwyciężyć. Także jeszcze raz trzymajcie za nas mocno kciuki. Wierzę, że cała polska siatkarska społeczność znowu zjednoczy się, aby nas wspierać. Zrobimy wszystko, aby przywieźć jeszcze raz Puchar Europy do Polski.
Dziękuję bardzo. I think I have gone through all of the questions that we have received. I would like to thank Alexander and Georgia for joining us today. Wish you the best of luck for tomorrow.